What is good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode brought to you by the League FFB. Welcome back to another episode of our Best Ball Summer Series here, drafting some teams over on Underdog Fantasy. As you guys know, good friends of the show. If you want to sign up on Underdog, use code LeagueFFB. They'll give you up to $2,000 in bonus cash, but that's not super important. What is important is that we are currently waiting to hop into a Best Ball Mania 6 draft. If you guys are tuning in to the stream right now and you want a chance to draft with us, we currently have 4 spots still available in one of the 30-second lobbies over there for the Best Ball Mania tournament. So, hey, maybe you can hop in and join us and draft with us here today. What I do want to show you guys before we hop into that draft, or I guess is as we wait for that draft to fill, is some of the drafts that we have already completed. I see we got RW in the chat. Appreciate you being here. Derek, my guy, he says sun's out, mowing hat out. Look, it's best ball summer. You got to have the sun hat on, otherwise you're going to get sunburnt. So that's why we're doing it. But look, we have a total of 35 teams drafted up to this point, I think, is where we're at. Our goal by week 1 of the NFL season is 250 plus teams. We just did the Greyhound. I did the Greyhound the other night off of stream. We ended up drafting that one. It's a single entry tournament, $35. This team actually ended up okay. Not my favorite team, not the worst team ever. We got the CD and we got the Dak stack. We also got Jalen Waddle there with Tua. And I think we had one more. What was it? Geno. I don't think we stacked Geno with anybody. He was naked. So there you go. But other than that, that's kind of what we've done off stream. I've been finishing a lot of these Schnauzer drafts, these Hound Dogs, some other stuff like that. We're trying to finish these last ones up right now, and then we should be somewhere around that 40-45 mark. Then we're going to enter a bunch of the Schnauzer 2 drafts. You get 20 teams in there, and so we'll try and max that one out. But you see, we're waiting on this draft. We got about 2 more spots left, so we'll go in there. We'll try and get in there, get this draft rolling. As always, if you guys are looking at the screen right now and you're saying, hey, what are these green percentages that you're seeing and how are you seeing the weeks 15, 16, 17 matchups? It's from our good friends over at bestballoverlay.com. Best Ball Overlay, one of the highest edge tools that you can possibly get in best ball right now. Obviously gives you a ton of information. They just launched a new website. It's going to be really good for people who have large portfolios. They also support the show, so if you want to go sign up, try that out. Watch tonight, see how I use it. If you like what you see, 25% off your monthly subscription when you sign up using code LEAGUEFFB. It's the same code it's what, this way? Yeah, same code that's down at the bottom of that screen. Just copy that one, it'll be the same. But we're waiting on 2 more people, and then we'll be good to go. Hopefully everyone's doing well. Appreciate everyone being in here. We do have a draft goal tonight, or I guess a like goal, to do a second draft on stream after this one. If we can get to 15 likes, we will do a second draft. Maybe we'll set another draft goal where if you guys can hit that one, maybe we'll do a third draft. So it's all up to you guys. As much as you guys like the content, that's how many we'll do. Maybe I won't sleep tonight and we'll just rip a bunch of these drafts. But while we wait for this thing to fill up, I wouldn't be doing, my due diligence if I didn't hit you guys with the ad. So bear with me for 60 seconds while we wait for this. Playing drafts or sweating pick'ems, there's no off season on Underdog, which means there's still plenty of ways to cash in big this summer. No matter the sport you're watching, Underdog has you covered, and all you have to do is pick higher or lower on your favorite athletes from whatever sport, put them into a pick'em entry, watch the winning multiplier increase, click play, and win real cash. So what are you waiting for? Download Underdog and start playing today. Plus, when you use promo code LEAGUEFFB, Underdog will give you a new customer special, which is a free square for your first pick'em entry, and they will give you up to $1,000 in bonus cash, giving you the perfect head start to winning big on Underdog. So if you want to support our show and get in on some daily fantasy sports action, click the link in our description to sign up for Underdog using code LEAGUEFFB. So thank you to our sponsors over at Underdog, and with that out of the way, let's get back into the action. What is up, Bindles? Appreciate you being here. We're waiting on one more guy, so if one person wants to draft with us, hop up in this 30-second lobby in Best Ball Mania. We need one more, and then we'll be ready to go. Look, I just drafted my golden roster before this stream. Actually, I drafted it just about 2 hours ago. Was trying to target that Green Bay and that Denver Week 15 matchup. Was trying to get the Bo Nix, Jordan Love, stack that with Cortland Sutton, potentially Evan Engram, Tucker Kraft, all these guys, right? I was trying to do it. I got sniped on Bo Nix about 10 spots above ADP, so we didn't get that. We pivoted to Dak Prescott. We already had George Pickens on the team. If you guys want to see that team, it's over. Actually, what am I doing? If you guys want to see that team, I'll show you this team right now while I'm talking about it. But this is kind of the roster that we got. Golden, similar to that Greyhound that I was talking about, it's only a single entry tournament, so you have one shot at it, and that's it. We were drafting from 3 spot, but we ended up getting Dak and Jordan Love. Like I said, I wanted Bo Nix, Jordan Love, but it still worked out fine. We got Bijan, Josh Jacobs, Pacheco, Bigsby, Dobbins, and Dylan Sampson. At the wide receiver position, Rashee Rice, Cortland Sutton, George Pickens, Chris Godwin, Jaden Reed, Josh Downs, Jermaine Burton. As you can probably tell, I was targeting that game, but also like Jacksonville, KC. That's why you see guys like Rice on this team, guys like Pacheco on this team, because I was trying to land those guys for that correlation with Bo Nix, but we got sniped, so it is what it is. Ferguson, Pitts, Sanders. But there you are. That's kind of the roster. Might try and rerun that back at some point, targeting that game. But we'll see what happens. I think this one tonight, what we're going to try and do, once we can get this filled, dude, I swear it takes so long for these to fill. Even sometimes, I promise you guys, I'm not like hopping in them as soon as the stream starts. Sometimes I'm starting them before the stream starts, and we end up still waiting. What has it been? 4 minutes, 5 minutes now at this point? 9 minutes now that we've been in the stream. So, yeah, not ideal. But drafting from the 3 spot, we'll see what we can make happen in this one. I'm looking to see if we see any names that are familiar. I'm not seeing any. So we'll see what happens here. I'm going to try and chase some value in the early rounds and then let that kind of dictate where we target as far as correlations, stacks, matchups, XYZ. We'll go from there. But at the 3 spot, ideally Chase, ideally, he falls, probably doesn't at that point. I'm very overexposed to Saquon Barkley at this point. Not overexposed, but 20%. He's certainly one of my highest exposure players right now. Trying to pull those numbers down just a tiny bit. I don't want to be 20% Saquon. I think he's still going to be fantastic, but probably sprinkle in a little bit more Bijan, a little bit more Justin Jefferson, especially here at the 103. So hopefully we're lucky enough. It goes Chase Barkley, and then we have our choice. I think I will go Jefferson for this one if that is the case. So Mac Daddy ends up on the clock here, and let's see what he does. Maybe not even going to be in here in time. I'm going to try and go Jefferson. He's going to be the selection. Bijan goes there. I'm going to go Jefferson. Like I said, been trying to get a little bit less Saquon. This is going to put us in prime position here late, though. I do love J.J. McCarthy here as a potential pick on the board. We'll try and grab him late to get that stack. I want to make sure. Let me just pull this up. I want to show that combination tool. The teams that I am, this is part of that best ball overlay thing, guys. It's, like I said, super dope tool. I wouldn't honestly be promoting it if I didn't use it myself and I didn't like it. But Justin Jefferson, J.J. McCarthy, looks like we have Jefferson as that first pick on 3 teams. And we've paired him with J.J. McCarthy on 2 of the 3, so not too bad. Hopefully we can go 3 for 4 here. We've also paired him, seems like pretty commonly, with Jared Goff, so maybe we avoid a little bit of Jared Goff here. Maybe we avoid some Brashard Smith. I've been getting him late. Igbuka, Jalen McMillan, Demario Douglas, and Sam Laporta. So it seems like that's kind of what we're going to be looking at today. Want to make it a little bit more unique because I don't want to have all of these teams that have the same combinations. I have been pairing with a lot of Lions, obviously, because it's Week 17 matchup against Detroit in the Dome. It's going to be a really good game for fantasy points. There should be a lot of scoring in this one, so you still want to take some Detroit Lions where you can get them. But maybe, you know, instead of Laporta, we go with Jameson Williams. I don't think we have Jameson Williams on any of these teams. We have him on 1. Maybe you go Jameson Williams there. Maybe you could go a guy like David Montgomery, who I don't see we have any on here. So no David Montgomery. Maybe he's a selection that we can try and pair here instead from that same game. Nahal says, when do you think Underdog is coming to Ontario? I'm getting FOMO. I have no idea, to be honest. I have no idea. Wish I did. But yeah, unfortunately, I think out there you guys can't draft. I think Bindles deals with the same thing. He said he was in Canada or something like that to me earlier and said he can't draft, or when he drafts, he has to, you know, use somebody else's account and just be on stream with them. Not, obviously not playing on somebody else's account, but he streams. And I'm not trying to get you in trouble, Bindles. I don't think you do that. But at the end of the day, you know, Canada, you can't play. All right, so we're going to be up on the clock here at 22. Achan's been falling a little bit. Wouldn't mind if he falls. I don't expect it, but obviously if he falls, that's a good, unique pairing. Wouldn't mind getting some McConkey. Potentially he goes right there. And outside of those two, there's nothing super unique, I don't think, about the pairing. So we'll see. What other second-round picks have I been taking with him? Bucky was one of them. Marvin. Looks like some picks like that. There goes Bucky. There goes HN, unfortunately. But let's see what we can do here. Dallas, Giants, Detroit. Probably nothing on the table. But I don't mind. I just wanted to make sure again. We don't have Taylor, right? Yeah, we have no Jonathan Taylor with Justin Jefferson, so I'm more than happy going Jonathan Taylor here, making him the selection. He'll be our RB1. Gives us some flexibility with Seattle, San Francisco, Jacksonville, potentially in playoff weeks. I know the FCSE guys get someone in the U.S. to draft for them. Yeah, there's ways around it if you're a content creator, but it's tough. He says, I think everywhere in Canada. I think it's everywhere in Canada except Ontario. That's crazy. Yeah, I didn't even know. When you get your, like, partner stuff, they give us, obviously, the maps. You guys have seen those maps of where it's available. I just get the map of the United States. So I have, like, a map of all of the United States places where you can play pick'ems and where you can play drafts, but I don't have anything else outside of that. Jacobs off the board there at 23. I think right here around this one, I don't mind potentially, you know, going a guy like Marvin or Garrett Wilson. With our Jonathan Taylor teams, it looks like we've been getting Jaden Reed pretty often. We got Kyron Williams on a team there. So on and so on. Lamar Jackson and Jaden Daniels with Jonathan Taylor teams. Interesting. I'm typically not QB early, but I guess with Jonathan Taylor I am. I don't mind going T if he falls here a little bit. Could also go get like a guy like Garrett Wilson. There goes T, obviously, of course. Let's see. San Francisco, Jacksonville, Dallas, New York, Detroit. I think we're going to stay here with this best ball Mania team and go. Let's go Garrett Wilson in this one. Justin Jefferson, Garrett Wilson. That Jacksonville and this Jacksonville correlate, so maybe that's Trevor Lawrence in play later as a kind of like a back end stack from the quarterback. We'll see. Is underdog in Detroit? I might draft when I'm out there this summer. Yes, I think that you can draft in Michigan. Michigan should be fine, I think. Dog Pound, appreciate you, man. 2 milli will do. Damn straight. We need to get that 2 milli today. Obviously, the best way to do that is with best ball overlay. Damn straight. But look, Garrett Wilson also puts us in play. I'll put him up here. Justin Fields. Don't typically draft a lot of Justin Fields, but I do when I get Garrett Wilson. And I haven't got a lot of Garrett Wilson, obviously. So we'll see what happens there. Our next pick is going to be at that, what is that, 46.51. It's going to put us in a unique little range here of the back end of this wide receiver tier. So typically I am drafting one of these wide receivers that get left, you know, a little bit too long. That early end, I am kind of dipping into the Pickens Waddle tier as well. But we might switch it up a little bit and draft one of these running backs. If James Cook falls, because people are a little bit nervous about Cook, I'm okay drafting him. Kenneth Walker's been falling as well. We might be early on him just because of our draft position where we're out of that turn there. You could take him with Jonathan Taylor, but I think I'll probably pass on him at the moment with that injury that he's dealing with. And I don't think it's going to be super serious, but I don't know. It feels like his price is trending down a little bit at the moment. I might buy him as he gets a little bit lower. Start adding more of him as he gets a little bit lower. And then what else do we have here? San Francisco. Excuse me. San Francisco. You could go a guy like Jennings. We could go a guy like, not Debo, Pearsall. There's a lot of options around here. We'll play it by ear. See what happens there. But this start's not too bad. Let's see. I just want to check my Garrett Wilson teams here. Josh Allen on 50% of them. Justin Fields on 50% of them. It's really just two teams here that have the Garrett Wilson, or yeah, that have Garrett Wilson. Barkley's on one of them. I have Rachaad White on 100%. That's funny. I guess we won't draft Rachaad White today. Sutton. Okay. It's not too bad. Guess Rachaad White's on our do not draft board right now. Unless we get him at a value. But we're sitting here, you know, 46. Ideally, Jameson Williams falls because he does correlate well in that championship week, week 17. Like we said, we didn't have a lot of him, and it doesn't matter because Smeagol's going to get him anyways. We could go Travis Hunter if we want to. That correlates with the championship week for Jonathan Taylor. That also correlates with Garrett Wilson here in week 15. And that won't matter anyways either. So why don't we just go... I mean, DJ Moore's fallen a little bit. Kind of a value. We'll take DJ Moore. have him be the wide receiver 3. And Sutton comes off the board. I think we'll be in RB play with this next one potentially. We could go Addison and then do the double stack, but I'm probably not going to do that. Hampton would be interesting. I obviously haven't drafted a ton of Hampton. 2.9%, that's pretty low. But he would be interesting just to throw something in here that we don't do often. If he goes, I'm not opposed to going Pickens just because of that week 15 from Justin Jefferson. I guess those are our 2 picks here. Hampton goes, so I guess Pickens it is. I think that also puts us kind of in play for Caleb. We didn't do that earlier, but Caleb Williams is in play, and so is Dak for the quarterback stacks here. If we want to slide them, I'm not going to be like reaching for these guys by any means, but if we want to do it, we do it. But McCarthy's the one that I definitely am trying to target here. All right, next pick. 70-75, so that's going to put us... I mean, that does put us in that Monty range. I did say we could add a guy like Monty to get... We'd have 0 Monty, I think, with that Justin Jefferson game. So we could go Monty here. Another one that would be interesting would be... maybe taking a guy like Connor. I think I want to go running back for sure since we only have one on the roster right now. I definitely want to go running back with one of those next picks. And if that, once we do that, I guess the one that we turn around on will probably be more so a wide receiver. Maybe we reach down into a weird tier of running back here. But I think running back's the next one. Obviously, if Monty's the pick, or if Monty's available, Monty's the pick for me. What's his ADP? 70? How realistic of a shot do we got? 70? I mean, spot on. And week 8 bye weeks for both of them. Does it give us different, if that matters much to you guys? I care sometimes, but not too much. Been getting a ton of Rome Odunze this offseason so far. Haven't been getting a ton of DJ Moore. I just think he's a better value. Maybe I'll regret that. Glad we got some DJ Moore right now. Harvey's been falling a little bit too. If Harvey falls all the way to us because people are scared about J.K. Dobbins, I will definitely rip R.J. Harvey as one of the next picks as well. We have 8 picks. I don't know if he's going to fall. He's already fallen. What is that? We're at 65 almost. He's almost 10 spots behind ADP right now, which I don't know. There's a couple badges on the way to us where they might do something. Scoop up the value. There goes Henderson. Harvey off the... I told you one of the red badges was going to do it. Olave. We might get lucky here. We might get a little bit lucky. There goes Connor, please. We got this guy with 0 running backs, though. That's the scary one. And I think Monty's as safe as you can get for an RB1. He's going to take Monty. I just know it. Holy hell, we got saved. There goes Monty. Gives us that nice correlation. And now we should be pretty good on that game after we get McCarthy in here. We got Dallas here with Pickens. Giants, there's not a lot to love there. Maybe you go like a Tracy or Scat. 75 here, though. I think I do want to... I might rip a running back here, potentially. Kind of like Swift. That would double us up with Chicago Bears, but that definitely keeps Caleb Williams in play. You could go Caleb and McCarthy. Well, that would put us in play here where you have the flexibility of Fields or Caleb at that 100 spot. Where would that be? Yeah, kind of right here. It'd give you flexibility for either of those guys. That might be worth it. Rodrigo says, are you wearing a Chargers jersey? Yeah, I mean, Justin Herbert was on the thumbnail. I figured I'd throw the Herbert jersey on. I got a bunch of jerseys in my closet of different players. Got a tradition, actually, where I go buy the jerseys of players that have helped me win fantasy football championships. So I got a closet of jerseys in there of a bunch of different players. So yeah, it's kind of just a little tradition that I've done. If I have a team that goes really far, you know, second place, first place in my fantasy football league, wins me a trophy, I'll get a jersey or two off of some of the players that had big championship weeks. All right, Swift on the board there too. So Monty, Swift, Taylor, pretty solid at the wide receiver position. Next is that 94-99. I think at that 99, we can go Fields or Caleb. Maybe push one. And then 134 is super important for us to land that J.J. McCarthy. So honestly, we'll be taking him at 123 because we got that long turn. We'll be reaching on him a little bit. 10 spots probably above ADP, but I'm reaching here in round 11. McCarthy. All right. I mean, we're pretty open now at this point. We can go any which direction we want. Mooney. It'd be really cool if Hawkinson falls, because I don't think I have any Jefferson Hawkinson stacks at all. That double stack for mini, that would be really cool. Warren. I'm pretty sure I've drafted with this guy before. He's pretty solid. There goes Mayfield. If we can get Hawkinson here, I'll rip it. I feel like this guy's been taking every pick we've said. We said what? Connor was on there, Jameson was on there, Hawkinson was on there. I think he might be targeting that same game. So we kind of got to be a little bit careful. I'm going to go Kelsey here. Have him be our tight end. And then I'm going to probably just take Justin Fields, assuming he gets back around at 99. And he probably does. If he doesn't, we can fall on Caleb Williams, or we can go next round and go Dak. The plan here should be Justin Fields with Garrett Wilson. Nice. Okay, secured the stack. Love to see it. Pretty well rounded right now, actually. When I'm looking at this roster so far through, what is that, 9 rounds? 1, 3, 4, 1. Kind of got flexibility everywhere. Fields and JJ McCarthy feel like the 2 QBs that we can rely on. Maybe a third one late if we feel like we want it. But I'm okay with just Fields and McCarthy. It's a little bit risky, but I'm okay with it. Jonathan Taylor, David Montgomery, DeAndre Swift here. That does give you some flexibility to maybe grab one more and then push the last 2 late, in my opinion. We got Justin Jefferson, Garrett Wilson, DJ Moore, George Pickens, and then Travis Kelce. We do also have the ability here where you have this Week 15 stack with Dallas, Justin Jefferson, the game stack. We got the game stack with Detroit. We had the potential to still throw some Jacksonville players in here with Garrett Wilson and Jonathan Taylor. And we also have the potential to throw some San Francisco players in here with Swift and Jonathan Taylor. So there's lots of ways to keep correlating this roster and keep getting, that championship week, those championship weeks type of correlation. Be kind of cool too to honestly double up with Evan Engram and just go Kelsey Engram 1-2. I don't think that's likely to happen, but maybe. If we keep getting this good value on Caleb Williams, though, he's definitely an interesting play at 118. There's kind of some value on this board. I think we got to be careful of Smeagol for McCarthy. If he's seeing what I'm seeing, I think we got to be careful with him. This kid's sharp, man. I feel like every player I mention, he's drafting, so I like it. I probably like his team. There goes Tootin. Let's go. Taking too much time. I think I'm going to go Marvin Mims here. I was also thinking Ramondre Stevenson, but I'll go Marvin Mims. He, like I said, kind of correlates with that Travis Kelce week. And then it's a reach. It's definitely a reach. But our next pick is at 142 after this 123. So 123 and then 142. And we have McCarthy at 134. So I'm going to reach on him. It's going to feel a little bit egregious, I think, to some people, but I'm locking down this game, man. I'm locking down the stack. Also, I'm looking at the board. Probably, it just feels like in these, couple of rounds, QBs start getting ripped off the board. And that's those teams that kind of wait till later. I mean, even if you look at the projections, if you care about the projections, McCarthy's is as high as anybody over here. So, it feels like the ADP is a reach right now, especially when we're getting a slight value on a guy like Dak. But his projections are as high as everybody else's. There goes Herbert. Let's go McCarthy. Bang. Fields, McCarthy. That gives us that double stack with Jefferson, Garrett Wilson. Love it. We don't really got to chase stacks anymore. We did secure that. And like I said, look at that. Look at what I just said. There goes Herbert. There goes McCarthy. There goes Prescott. There goes May. It's going to be a run. It's going to be a run. I'm glad we took McCarthy because if we didn't, he would have been gone. I think he would have been gone by the time we pick next. Especially with Smeagol. He's targeting that game, it feels like. Yeah. Caleb says, I'm so sick of seeing the best ball drafter draft. We haven't won nothing yet. Get the sombrero off. It's a sun hat. It's not a sombrero, dude. What are we talking about? You don't see the palm trees and the sun on here? All right. You know, next pick is open. I might grab one of these tight ends here and a running back with the next 2 picks. If we got a guy like Kincaid, a guy like Kraft, a guy like Njoku, whose bye weeks don't conflict, I'm more than comfortable with just those 2 tight ends, and we can kind of rock with that. And then running back wise, Ramondre is feeling like a damn value. I also don't mind going, I said it, we're trying to stay away from Rashad White. I also don't mind going like Blue or Benson here, potentially, if those guys are available on the board. But let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Typically, this is where I'm pulling QB, but we're pretty good at wide receiver right now. Caleb says, is this the new tool? Yes, this is a tool, bestballoverlay.com. Gives you the exposures live on screen. A lot of stuff on their website that like shows you a lot of analytics and stuff about your portfolio if you're drafting a bunch of teams. And you get those championship weeks. It shows you, you know, the little highlights there. Like it's nice, right? You see McCarthy green, Jefferson green. You see those games where, you know, Jefferson and McCarthy correlate. It's a nice tool, man. I like it. Been helping me, you know, get a little bit more unique, a little bit different with these best ball teams. I'm going to go Kincaid here because he was the last tight end I liked. Now I don't need to go another tight end. I'll go Kelsey, Kincaid, and call it wraps and go from there. But yeah, I like this tool, man. I think it's a nice tool. It lets me kind of get a little bit different exposure. I think one of the cooler things too is like you see all these percentages right now where that's showing you my full portfolio, but say like I only wanted to see, I know it's kind of cut off over here, but I can filter tournaments and go to, you know, all my best ball mania teams or all of my schnauzer teams or whatever, and just see specific tournaments if you want to be unique in those tournaments as well. So it's pretty cool. You get to filter it down, do a bunch of stuff with it. Like I said, Caleb, you kind of laid me up for a plug, but if you guys want to try this out, you can sign up using code LEAGUEFFB on Best Ball Overlay. It's the same code that you see down there on the bottom, and they'll give you 25% off your monthly membership. So try it for a month or 2 if you want, and if you don't like it, do what you got to do. But I think if you start using it, you're going to really like it. All right, we're going Jaden Blue. Jaden Blue's the pick. Gives us another running back here. So Swift, Monty, Blue, Taylor. It's not bad, man. I do think I'm going to try and rip a third QB. It would be nice to potentially get... It'd be nice to get a guy that I think Stafford is just so undervalued. Him or Geno, both of those guys being bye week 8. Feels like those guys are probably picks that I would take. Even a Cam Ward, if we wanted to get really spicy there, you could go Cam Ward. But our next pick is 166. These guys should be past ADP. Even Penix, Tua. There's a lot of these guys. I think I'm going to take one of these with the next pick. Even Bryce. I don't mind going Bryce. All of these guys, man. But I would order this tier right here. I would go Stafford on top. Penix probably second. Tua, Geno, Bryce. I'm just trying to watch these buys. We don't have 9s and 6s, so we're pretty good. But that's the way that I would order it if it were me. Been drafting a lot of Tua late. Also kind of want to get one of these wide receivers. I've been trying to get a little bit more Cedric Tillman. Not a ton more, but been trying to get a little bit more. He's just been sandwiched right next to Jalen McMillan, who it's been hard for me not to draft Jalen McMillan a ton. I think Godwin starts a little bit slow. Igbuka, rookie. Maybe they lean on a guy like McMillan early on, and he just sticks. Sometimes early in the season, if you get something going, it's easy to just stick to that for the rest of the year. We're kind of getting a value on Bigsby too. Bigsby's an interesting one. I only have about 8.6%. Would be cool to throw him here at a value. He's been falling down boards a little bit. I think a little bit of that is the coach speak from ETN. Wish I could say that I didn't tell you guys that ETN was just criminally low for months, but he has been. Now the market is catching up slightly. Anthony says, make sure you snag Giddens. I wouldn't mind snagging Giddens typically, but we do have Taylor, and I don't love handcuffing in best ball. Feels like I'm using 2 roster spots on the same backfield, which is not what I like doing. We still have multiple QBs that we like. Both of those, one of those teams has one. I'm going to gamble. I'm going to go with Bigsby. Have him as the 5th. I kind of just messed up there, actually, because I wanted to grab one of these wide receivers. You know what? It is what it is. Probably shouldn't have grabbed Bigsby, but we did get him at a value, so you really can't complain too much about that. We got him about 15 spots behind ADP. And then Tua comes off the board for Mac Daddy. That's interesting because now that puts CD here probably taking Geno, and that'll leave us with only 2 QBs, which is fine. Anthony says, thoughts on Dobbins signing? I think Dobbins is going to be usable this year. Like, I've been interested in him, I think, in some late best ball drafts as their rumors kind of came in. Now that they've officially been made official, I think he's going to start going up in ADP, and I'm probably not going to be drafting him anymore. But I think, he's going to be valuable, but I think RJ Harvey's still fine. I still don't think it's out of the range of outcomes for RJ Harvey to go out there and give you a top 20 season as a rookie, as a running back. Both of these guys can be efficient. We've seen Peyton have 2 guys before. And the pass catching is what I'm after, and that's going to be RJ Harvey. All right, so ended up not getting the guy. We'll go Cedric Tillman. Ended up working out okay. You get the value. Maybe saved us from not having to draft a 3rd QB. If we wanted to do one late, we could get fancy or get super risky. We have Fields, McCarthy. You could go Jackson Dart if you want to get freaky. Maybe Daniel Jones if you want to get gross. You could even go Aaron Rodgers or Darnold potentially next round, maybe. All right, 3 picks left. Right now, the roster is a 2-5-6-2. I'm good at the 2 on the tight end. We might be stuck with the 2 on the QB with Fields and McCarthy, but there's probably enough upside there between the 2 that we actually are fine. Anthony says, Fields loves his tight ends. Mason's sitting there. I've been drafting a good amount of Mason Taylor. Let me look at his exposure right now, actually. 11.4%. I guess not a ton, but definitely not, of the guys in this range, been clicking him more often than not. I don't mind it if we hadn't already got Kelsey Kincaid. That feels like we're just so set here. Most weeks it feels like it's probably still going to be Kelsey despite his age hitting our lineup. And then the weeks that it's not, I think Kincaid has a decent enough floor that we're okay. Probably rather use the extra spot on maybe another running back, another wide receiver. Go from there. Schultz. This is such an interesting... It feels like at this point in the draft, you just kind of say screw it and start drafting whatever. Just go get your guy at this point. We did have the potential week 8. We don't have a QB with week 8. We do have... who was it? Seattle game. I don't know if that Indy Seattle game is going to be a barn burner by any means, but if it surprises us, maybe. I don't mind throwing Darnold in here at this pick. Get him a little bit behind ADP. He's QB3. Darnold, McCarthy, Fields. Good there. Gets that correlation with Taylor. And now we got 2 picks left. I think honestly we'll probably go 1-1. Running back, wide receiver, 94 or 95 and 214. So with this next one, honestly, probably wouldn't mind a Dowmy Brown. I wouldn't mind a Jalen Coker. I feel like that is a fine pick with either of those guys. Obviously, been drafting a lot more Coker than I have been Dowmy. I also don't mind shooting shots at Adonai as well. But I think if I do take a shot, it's going to be one of these 2 guys with this next pick here. I think I'm leaning Dowmy over Coker. All right, so there goes Dowmy Brown. Kind of I think finishes our wide receiver room. Maybe big play in that improved Liam Cohen offense is interesting with Jacksonville. You get the correlation with the New York Jets there. Indianapolis also has that correlation. Like we said, it's not highlighted because we don't have the QB, but you have Jonathan Taylor here with Jacksonville. So I think we'll be there. Big play, Dowmy Brown. Cedric Tillman could be a big play guy. Marvin Mims, obviously a big play guy. And then the 4 guys, Moore, Pickens, Wilson, Jefferson, that we can rely on weekly, I think, is the plan at least. Hopefully we can rely on those guys each week. Now we have Taylor, Monty, Swift, Blue, Bigsby. It's a unique roster. It's not bad, actually. I like this. The QBs, probably people look at this and they're like, I don't love it. But I actually think these QBs are really sneaky. Darnold is more so in there just for an extra fluff, just in case. But I love the tight ends. I think the tight end here value that we got, is good with Kelsey and Kincaid. I love the wide receivers. I think we're all right, man. Let's see what we can do here. I've been drafting a lot of these Rams running backs. Been kind of sprinkling Corum and Hunter. I've got more Hunter than I do Corum. He's kind of my pick of the 2, but been sprinkling a lot of them. I also feel like I need to get more Taj Brooks, man. At one point I had him at like 15%, and then I started diversifying a little bit down here, drafting more Brashard Smith. But I probably want some more Taj Brooks in my life as well. I also have like very, I don't even have any Keaton Mitchell. He's a guy that I haven't drafted enough of. I probably need to sprinkle him in there a little bit as well. Yeah, that's probably where we're going to be sitting with that last pick. Chubb available. Nah, I think Chubb started to move up the board quite a little bit. Let's see where he went. Is he hiding down there? Sneaking down there? Oh no, he's up here. It feels like he's getting a little bit high already. Like I think I'd rather take Dowdle. I will say we're slowly starting to wrap up this draft, folks. The like goal for today's video is 15. If we can get to 15 likes by the time we wrap this up, I'll rip another one. We'll do another one if we can get to 15 likes. So if you're watching right now, I see I got 53 people on X and YouTube combined. If the people on X want to come over to YouTube, they want to keep watching, hit the like button on YouTube, get us to 15. We'll rip another one. But if not, we can save it for next week too. I'm not tripping. But let's go to this next pick. I kind of want to rip Blake Corum, but I'm going to go Taj Brooks. I kind of wanted to rip Blake Corum, but I'll go Taj Brooks just to get him thrown in there a little bit. And that's going to leave us with a team of Justin Fields, McCarthy, and Darnold as the QBs. Running backs, we got Jonathan Taylor, David Montgomery, DeAndre Swift, Jaden Blue, Tank Bigsby, Taj Brooks as well. Then we got Justin Jefferson, Garrett Wilson, DJ Moore, George Pickens, Marvin Mims Jr., Cedric Tillman, Dami Brown, Travis Kelce, and Dalton Kincaid. And I see we're at 14 likes, folks, so I will keep get one more in there and I'll rip another one. Get one more. We're right there. I won't end the stream yet. Let me make my selection here in this slow draft on the Hound Dog. This team right now is Purdy, McCarthy, Christian McCaffrey, all these guys. 155. We're not getting any crazy values here. I see we got the 15 likes, folks. I will start another one here in just a second. Dan the man came in with the last one. Appreciate you, Dan. What do we want to do here? Purdy, McCarthy. I don't mind going Bigsby or Algier, but honestly, I think this one's going to be one where I go 2 tight ends only, and I think I might hit Pitts here and have it be Pitts and Njoku, and I think I might call that it. Matt says, does the draft tool work with the app? Unfortunately, it does not work with the app. It's only on desktop. It's actually a Google Chrome extension. So you download the extension and it plugs and plays. But yeah, it's not on the app. So unfortunately, I wish it was. It would be great to have it on the app. But I can understand why it's not, because you have way less screen space for all of this stuff that it would plug in. But let's load up another one, folks. If you guys want to draft with me, let's figure out what we want to hop into. We just hopped into a BBM. I've done my Greyhound. I've done my Golden. Who wants to rip a Schnauzer too? Let's rip one of these, folks. I'm going to enter the 20-second lobby. So if you guys are at home, you want to draft with me, I'm going to hit the 20-second lobby here in about 10 seconds, and we'll rip another one. But I'll give you guys a couple seconds if you want to try and get in. But let's just do it. Let's do it. I'm going to hit the enter button in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll rip this one. Confirm that. We're in that 20-second lobby. Still 2 people, 1 person left. So hopefully you guys can get in with us. If you get in with us, let me know in the chat, man. I'd love to know who's here. But yeah, man. Appreciate the likes. hitting the like goal. It's awesome. And love to keep ripping these all night long. So if you guys want to do it, we'll do it next week. And next week I'll have a third one. Let's do a third one next week where I say if we get to 30, maybe we rip a third one. You guys can keep me up all night long. But anybody in here watching the stream, anybody. I don't recognize any of the names, but maybe we do. Let me know in the chat. All right, so we're from the 4 spot actually. We just drafted from the 3. I like drafting at the back of these drafts a little bit more this year, but I'm not getting late picks as often as I want. I mean, this is still going to put us in position to do what we wanted to do last time. One second, let me finish this message real quick. All right, we had Barkley come off the board. We just took Jefferson. I don't mind it, but let's focus on another build. I'm gonna go Lamb here. Let's build a team around CeeDee Lamb right now. That gives us some really cool options with the Chargers, the Commanders, and the Vikings, obviously. But Jaden Daniels in here. You could go Jaden Daniels and Dak, go QB early. That might be interesting. Throw some Terry McLaurin in there at the turn. There's a lot of options with this, man. Maybe Lad McConkey falls and you can stack Lad. Dan says, have you or anyone here kept getting randomly placed in the same draft position? Out of 14 underdog drafts so far, all but 2 of them I've been picking 9 or 10. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying, man. I feel like all of my drafts so far, I keep picking from 3rd spot or the 4th spot or the 2nd spot. Like, you'll notice, like, even my exposures here, like, Amon-Ra, 8%, 8%, 2%, 2%. But then, like, guys at the top, like, I have 20% Saquon. I have, like, 17 or I think it was like 16% Jamar Chase. Like, I'm getting these guys very early, and it's just, I don't know, man. I keep getting very early picks. I want some late ones. I'll swap you, Dan. If you keep getting the late spots and you want some early ones, hop in drafts with me. Hopefully you get the earlies and I get the lates. Just realized that music stopped for you. Also, I'll hit that again. Adrian says, why does drafting people from Minnesota, Los Angeles Chargers, and Washington help? So those are the championship weeks. Those are the advancing weeks on best ball drafts. So really, weeks 1 through 14, you're accumulating points, but the advancements happen in those championship weeks. So if you can get a game like, this Dallas and Minnesota game, say it's one of the highest scoring games on the week, and you have some players from that game, and it's like Pickens and Jefferson scores 2 touchdowns, and Pickens scores a touchdown, your chances of advancing are higher because you have that upside from that high scoring game. So being able to establish, or I guess just identify which of those games you think are going to be high scoring in those championship weeks and stacking those games from players with those games, it does improve the upside. And the thing with Dallas is all of these games I think can be high scoring. Every single one of them. Minnesota in a dome, Los Angeles in a dome, Washington against Jaden Daniels, all of those should be high scoring. So you're just kind of getting some help there. But what do we have? Let's nothing crazy here. Let's go with, I don't mind going Bucky. I haven't drafted a ton of Bucky. We'll go Bucky. I need to actually check. Should have done this before. I was sitting here yapping. CeeDee Lamb, who am I taking in the second rounds a lot of the times? Looks like T. Higgins. I almost went T. Higgins, so I'm glad I didn't because I was looking at him. I've got Terry with CeeDee a lot. And I'm probably going to do it again. Can't stop me, to be honest. I'm going to do it again. I'm sorry, folks. Unless T falls, but it's too good of a game stack. Tyler says, especially getting the QBs, possibly too. Exactly. If you can get those QBs too thrown in with the players, love it. Dan says, I'd love to switch. It's hard to diversify when Amon-Ra St. Brown keeps burning a hole in me. Every time, I feel like when I'm late, I'm always going like Amon-Ra. I want a couple where I can start drafting more Puka. I want more Puka in my portfolio. All right, there goes Wilson. And here comes the Terry McLaurin pick. So there we go. We're starting this stack, and we're going to do it. Dak and Daniels. I doubt he falls to us, but in the chance that Jaden Daniels falls to us at 45, I will take Jaden Daniels, and we will rock with that. And I don't typically go QB early, but I'm willing to make the exception in this scenario. And also, you know, we are seeing that with Lamb. Like I said, I have drafted, I kind of mentioned, I've drafted that combination with McLaurin a few times. This is our first time entering, you know, the Schnauzer 2. So this is the first time entering this draft. We have none of these combinations in this specific tournament, so it's okay if we kind of double up, to be honest. How do you pass the first round in best ball? Here, I'll show you. Some tournaments are different, but this is kind of how you advance. So weeks 1 to 14 are qualifiers. In those 14 weeks, they kind of put you in. Hopefully, we do. I'll just keep an eye on, make sure that we don't get our spot. Hold on here. Let me make sure we're good. Where is it? Basically, the best way to say it is, Adrian, is you get put in a lobby with other people. Basically, it creates like this lobby that we're in right now, these 12 people, and you got to have like some of the highest accumulated points from weeks 1 through 14. So I want to outscore these guys for the first 14 weeks. If I do, I move on to qualifiers, and then you can start advancing each week based on your production. So I just want to score more than these guys right now. Told you Jaden Daniels wouldn't make it back, unfortunately, but that's all right. I wouldn't mind James Cook. I know a lot of people are nervous about him. I still think he plays. And again, that's one of the best offenses in football still. But with this wide receiver spot, we got the Chargers. We got Philly in here if Devontae falls. That would be an interesting pick. Because that Washington Philly game is probably high scoring as well. Sorry, I skipped over Tyler's, and then I'll get to yours, TT. Tyler says, what's your highest rank or most you won from best ball? Last year, Mini Schnauzer got 55th out of 370,000, roughly $200. Last year, my highest, I can't remember what tournament it was, but I think I won like $250 off of one of these tournaments. It was a small tournament, nothing big, but I wasn't in a lot of drafts last year, actually. I drafted 75 teams. So this year is the first year that I'm really ripping a ton of drafts, but last year I only drafted 75. TT says, I don't really get the love for Jameson Williams. He will get you 4 good weeks about it. I mean, yes and no. I think he's a big play guy. He showed a little bit more consistency last year. But in a best ball format, the big plays, that's what you want. You want guys who can help you win weeks, especially when Detroit's, weeks are the championship weeks this year. It has Minnesota on it, has the Rams on it, I think, and somebody else's. It's pretty good schedule. All dome games. It's pretty nice. Dan says that Calvin Ridley 5th-round value is too juicy in all my drafts. I haven't drafted a ton of them. I really haven't, and I think that's just a little bit of nerves with Cam Ward. I don't mind Cam Ward in a dynasty, but he's a player that makes me a little bit nervous right now for like redraft and best ball. But he's pretty cheap as well. But I just don't know what to expect. Obviously, players you don't know what to expect, though, that's where you can make the money at. Tyler says best ball format is where you can take those boom or bust guys more often versus dynasty where you would look for more consistency. Exactly. And I think that's kind of why I like best ball a little bit, just being a degenerate, just being able to draft all off season. I do feel like this keeps me a little bit sharp on ADPs and players that I like for my redraft league, my home redraft league that I do with my buddies every year. And it allows you to roster some guys that I typically wouldn't like to roster in dynasty. How do you feel about taking both Puka and Adams? I don't mind it, actually. I think getting those two guys and then taking, even tripling it up and going to get Stafford late, I don't mind it at all. I love it, man. I think that offense is going to be very, very good. And I really would not be shocked if Adams and Puka are both top 12 wide receivers this year. All right, what are we going to do with this next pick? I haven't even looked. Why did I remove Dak from our queue? We could go him and Herbert potentially, because I know Herbert plays in against them. McCarthy, we could draft McCarthy again. Here, what do I want to do? Honestly, it's been really hard for me not to do it. I'm going to keep doing it. I just am going to keep drafting Rome Odunze, man. I love Rome Odunze at his value. And we're getting him behind ADP there. Just a little bit. Throws Caleb in the mix. I know we had him last draft. Throws him in the mix. McCarthy in the mix. To backstack that game. And then here, what if we go Shakir? Pretty, I love this wide receiver room. This room feels really, really good. Plus sneaky game correlation here. Week 17. If you make it that far, Smith and Shakir in a potential shootout with the Eagles and the Bills. And we're already correlated with that game here with James Cook as well. Next pick is going to be 93 Hundo. So we could go... Ooh, when's our next one after that, though? 117. Do we gamble on Dak? That feels really risky. What do you guys think, chat? Do we take Dak at that 100 and just make sure we lock him in, because we have been targeting this Dallas-Washington Week 17 game, and make sure we get that stack with CD? Should we just do that? Because we can get Ferg late as well and reach on Dak, or should we Should we risk it and try and push? I would love to get Pacheco here too. Never mind. Maybe Ayuk? Hawk? I don't mind Hawk. Never mind. I've stopped talking, dude. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 6 here, and this feels so good, dude. This room feels so good. It's probably one of the best wide receiver rooms I've drafted in my last few drafts. It's coming at this expense, though, obviously. And we decided to push. I think we're going to push Dak. I'm going to gamble it, and we might hate our damn lives. But we can still pivot. Yeah, I'm still going to push. Let's go. I'm going to go Tracy here. I'm scared. I'm scared. We're gambling. Dan said ETN. We could have went ETN potentially. Probably was a decent pick there, honestly. But as you can see, Dan, I have been drafting a good amount of ETN over here. Matt says nothing feels better than a wide receiver room that you love. Honestly, that's so true. If you get that wide receiver room that you just can't stop looking at, dude, there's maybe not a better feeling than that. And I might just leave it here so we can look at it together if you guys want. All right, Jonnu, Ingram, Kyler. I knew there was going to be a little bit of a quarterback run potentially. I'm just hoping we don't, get left out in the dark with Dak. Dak is the prize right now. And we're gambling. Maybe somebody watching snuck into our lobby and they're about to ruin our life. Five more picks. This mother effer right here. Alex B with the shield. You got George Pickens. You're the one that's going to scare me. You're the one that's going to scare me. Dodged a bullet. Dodged a bullet, folks. Yeah, I'm not going to gamble this again. Oh, wait, where did Dak go? Oh, my God, I missed it. What the fuck? All right. God damn. Okay, we're going to go Stevenson. Damn, dude, I hate this shit. This is horrible. This is horrible. Interesting you took Tracy. I know he was decent last year, but with Scatterbo now with NYG, you feel good about him. I still think he's going to get pass catching work, and I still think he's going to be utilized enough There should be some efficiency upgrades here with Russell Wilson there. I don't hate Tyrone Tracy, to be honest. And honestly, at ADP, I like him a little bit more than Scat right now. Damn, dude, I cannot believe we just got screwed on the on the DAC. I can't believe I missed it too. What happened, dude? I was too busy looking at who had George Pickens. God damn. That's horrible. Jared Goff off the board. I mean, it's not horrible. You know what? We'll still take... we're getting Caleb at a pretty good discount right here. I'll take Caleb Williams. Grab him. We have Romo Dunze, so we still get a stack. And we're still correlated with this game. It doesn't matter. We just don't have the QBs, but we have the wide receivers. So even if the, game's high scoring, we should still have a piece of it. Damn, dude. I can't believe that. That Caleb guy? What about him? Dude, I can't believe I missed that. Oh, horrible. Well, what can you do? Still love my wide receiver room, though. 41. Any way in hell we can get, one of these QBs. Probably still need to rip another one. We don't have a tight end on the roster, do we? No, we thought about going Hawkinson, but we got sniped. I think we're going to end up going 3 late is probably the plan there. Just at this point, push it further and further down the road. My most drafted best ball quarterback because I never learned my lesson from drafting the whole Bears offense in a startup. I don't mind it, honestly. I don't mind it. I think Caleb Williams has good of a chance as anybody to finish very high this year. I'm a Ben Johnson believer, man. There goes Kraft. He's kind of the last of the tight ends where I'm like, I'll probably only take 2. If Herbert keeps falling, dude, I'm speaking too soon, though, because Alex has no QB, and it doesn't matter, because what did I say last time? I said I need to shut my damn mouth. Damn, all bad. Well, I'm still gonna do it. Folks. Taking Ferg and still getting in on that game. Like I said, I don't have the QBs, but you can't stop me. And then I think with my next pick, I'm about to reach, man. People are gonna hate it. But there's no way he comes back around. 65, we wouldn't even be... He'd be falling past ADP at this point, so I'm reaching. I think he outscores Penix, Bryce Young, those guys. So we're doing it. I mean, we're getting good value on Hollywood, but I'm so good at wide receiver right now. Stafford, Caleb Williams. It's not bad, man. Not a bad room. I love the potential of both of the offenses. This might be a team here where we could go, depending on what quarterbacks are still on the board the next pick around, we could go 3 QBs, 6 running backs, 6 wide receivers, and 3 tight ends, and that would give us our 18. It could be a 3-6-6-3 build. If we don't love the QBs, I'm okay keeping 2 and going 2, 6, maybe 7 on the wide receivers, just throwing one more in here late since it is start 3 wide receiver and then still the 3 tight ends. But like I said, our next one's 165. So we'll see. Could take Roshan, have him in that offense with the Bears. Maybe we could have had the QB come around, but again, I'm doubting it. Maybe I take Cam Ward. Potentially. I think the way that I'm going to do it, though, is at 65. Unless Bryce Young is there, I'll push to 72. I think I might just push to 72 no matter what. Especially if we look at here. 2, 2, 2, 2. I mean, these guys are at risk of going 3. Mahomes, Fields, Goff to it. He's definitely at risk of going 3. Purdy May. He's maybe at risk of going 3. I mean, they all are. They all are, to be honest. John, my guy, what's up, man? How you doing? We are getting good value on Garendo. We have week 14 already. I'm going to go Roshan. There goes Cam. I don't really want to draft Darnold. I'm probably not going to draft Darnold. Actually, I'm just going to take him off. He is a bye week. They both have bye weeks. I think I'm going to roll 2 QBs, man. John says, you running back another draft? This is actually our run it. We ran it back. So this is our second one, actually. So this is going to be the last one of the night. But next week, I think I'm going to try and put a light goal for a third one. We might run 3 next week. Let's go. I'm still stacking up this game, folks. I'm going 12 Zach Ertz. We're still stacking up this game, folks. They try to stop us. Okay, so since we're going 2 here, it's going to be 2. Yeah, 2, 6, 7, 3, I think, is where we're going to end up. And right now we're at 2, 5, 6, 2. So just one more on each of these. 1 running back, 1 wide receiver, and 1 tight end. We got those 3 rounds left. Yep, we're good. I didn't even check where our next pick is. Hold on. 89-96. Cade is an interesting one. Taylor's an interesting one. Schultz is an interesting one. I think that's kind of where I'm at. I've been drafting too much JT Sanders. I also have too much Schultz, to be real. I just keep when I punt tight end, it just feels like taking 3 guys in this range. It's hard for me not to do it, just because I feel like there's so much value down here at tight end. So I can't complain too much on any of these guys. Let's see. Do we have anything random here that might have some correlation? Nothing here. I mean, we have Bucky, so you could have that correlation, but it's not correlated with anybody. It'd just be 2 guys on the same damn team. Dances, who's your guys a late round dart throw? There's a lot of them, man. I like AD, like you mentioned. You like AD Mitchell. I like AD as a second year guy. I also like taking Taj Brooks a lot. I've been taking a lot of Taj Brooks. Have also been taking. Let's go see. I was taking a ton. His ADP started to rise a lot, but Brashard Smith was a guy I used to take a lot in the late rounds. You can still get him as a last round pick. Sprinkled a couple Cole Kmets late. But yeah, Taj Brooks, Brashard Smith, those guys I've kind of been taking late. Corum, AD Mitchell. I've been sprinkling a little bit of Jermaine Burton right now. How you feeling about Chubb and Dobbins landing spots? I like Dobbins' landing spot more than I like Chubb's. I think Dobbins is actually going to be used in a committee. I think Chubb's is primarily just as a handcuff. I think Mixon's still going to be the guy. I'll take a flyer on Mason Taylor. He could be there in the second best option at receiver. I totally agree there. And we could use a little bit of upside there, right? We could use Ferguson, Ertz. We could use some upside. We might be able to push. Honestly, there's 3 guys that I like. We can probably push that one over to the 96. What are these guys in front of us? 2, 2, 2. We might, yeah, I think I'm okay pushing it. Let's go. We'll go Giddens. Throw some Giddens in here. There's a Jonathan Taylor injury. It's interesting. Jordan Mason and Javonte. I think Javonte is probably going to get the first crack at that starting job. I think Jaden Blue's the PPR guy there. Pass catching, third down kind of guy. Probably more interesting for fantasy, especially if he's going at a later cost. Jordan Mason, 1B in the offense to Aaron Jones, but I think he's being drafted a little bit too high right now in drafts. I know he's everyone's favorite mid-round sleeper. I still think he belongs in that Najee Harris type of tier, and Najee's going like 2 rounds later. We got snuck on a couple of those guys. Did we get all 3 of them? Damn. Okay, well, now we got left out. I'll take Hop. We don't have a ton of Hop. We just barely snuck that in there, didn't we? 2, 6, 7, 2. We'll go that tight end late, but we snuck Hop in there. Maybe he gives us a couple big weeks in Baltimore. Maybe, maybe not. But we got him 16 spots behind ADP, so who cares? Just take the value on the board. And then our last tight end now, that'll kind of put us in a bucket here where I didn't want to double up on the week 10s. I thought about Chig, but I didn't want to double up on the week 10s. So that'll put us with JT Sanders. It could also put us with some Theo Johnson. And if we don't like any of that, we could also maybe go Ferguson if you think he has some value. Cole Kmet if you still think he has some value. But I think ideally you go one of those guys. I don't mind Conklin either, but he still has that week 12 that has Ertz. I think ideally you get Theo or JT. Worst case, you get Kmet and you get that back stack with Caleb. Honestly, that's probably not a bad idea. Just take the big weeks. It's gonna be tough to trust, Cole Kmet on a week-to-week basis. So in a lineup league, you're not gonna like him at all. But if the offense takes the step forward that we think it can, there's still gonna be weeks where Cole Kmet gets into the end zone for sure. They could run a lot of 12 personnel, especially with Burden banged up right now. Like they could run some 12. So just to recap this draft for the folks at home, we kind of wanted to target, once we got our draft position, we wanted to target that Dallas Washington game there in week 17. That was kind of the goal. We got Jaden Daniels that didn't fall to us in the 4th round. Wasn't super upset about that one. We got sniped on Dak. I think we tried to push Dak, so that's kind of my fault. So I can't complain too much about that one. So we got no QBs from that game. However, we still got the wide receiver from that game. We got the tight ends from that game. So we still have, it tied up in there. We got Caleb Williams, Matthew Stafford. I'm gonna take Cole Kmet here to give us the Caleb Williams stack, but this isn't too bad here. Running backs is a little bit iffy. I think we pushed that a little bit late because we got such a good wide receiver room. But Bucky, James Cook, Tyrone Tracy, Ramondre Stevenson, Roshan Johnson, DJ Giddens. Wide receiver room is the one that I like the most, obviously. Lamb, McLaurin, Devontae, Rome, Shakir, Ayuk, and Hop. I kind of like that a lot. Hop was really just a pick because of the ADP value that we got there. And then tight end, Ferguson, Ertz, Kmet. Not sexy, but probably going to have some decent weeks between these 3 that will find our lineups. And again, that week 17 game. So can't complain too much. But that is going to be it here for tonight's stream. Appreciate you guys helping us hit that like goal after that first draft to rip another one. I love ripping these drafts, and I love ripping them on stream with you guys hanging out in the chat. So appreciate you guys for being here. Everybody who's been watching. We do this every week. We're going to be doing this every Wednesday. I moved them to Wednesdays. They were Mondays, but I think Wednesdays are better days. So we're going to keep doing those. And next week we'll put a like goal at 15 to rep a second one. And we'll put a second one at 30 likes. Let's do that to rip a third one. Maybe we'll do 35 just to incentivize it a little bit more to hit that third one. But either way, that's about it, man. Lots of good content still coming this week. Appreciate you guys for being here. Do all that good stuff for the YouTube channel. Appreciate us hitting past 5,000 subscribers. You guys have been awesome supporting. We passed that like not even 10 days ago, and we're already at 5,250, I think. So absolutely showing a lot of love to the channel. You guys are doing awesome. Appreciate you. But nothing else for you guys today. So I will see you on our next episode. Till then, though, peace out. Maybe.